Anxiety is exhausting. It can have you worrying about how much you're worrying, keep you up at night, or make you avoid doing things that you actually want to do. If that describes you, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Dr. Kiki Fehling, psychologist, author, and expert in Dialectical Behavior Therapy, or DBT. And in this video, I'll be teaching you 5 DBT skills that can help you cope with anxiety and overcome its tricky cycles. Skill number 1 is tip your temperature. When anxiety has you feeling like you want to crawl out of your own skin, this skill uses science to hit your body's chill out button. DBT has 4 nervous system regulation skills called the tip skills that can help you calm down when you're panicking. Tip your temperature is the first one. So to practice, you can fill a sink or a large bowl with cold water and then place your full face in the water. Or you can wrap a flexible ice pack with wet paper towel and put it over your eyes and nose. Then hold your breath for as long as you comfortably can. This skill directly impacts your nervous system through a body instinct called the mammalian dive reflex. When you put your face in cold water, your heart rate slows down, which is perfect when panic has you revved up. But this skill works so well that if you have heart problems or other medical issues, you should talk to your doctor before using it. If you can't or don't want to dunk your face in cold water, you can also try drinking a cold glass of water, placing a cold pack on the back of your neck, or running cold water over your wrists instead. All 4 of the tip skills can be quite useful for anxiety, so let me give you one more. Number 2, paced breathing. Turns out your lungs have a direct line to your brain's anxiety headquarters, and this coping skill teaches you how to help them flip the switch from red alert to all clear. Paced breathing is a distress tolerance skill from DBT that regulates your nervous system by asking you to breathe in a really specific way. First, you breathe deeply into your belly, taking slow and even breaths. And then, most importantly, you want to make your exhales longer than your inhales. If you can, pick a pace and stay there. Like try breathing through your nose for 4 seconds and then breathing out through your mouth for 6 seconds. Breathe at that pace for as long as you need, ideally at least for 5 minutes. Paced breathing works through the mind-body connection. When you're anxious, you usually breathe fast and shallow, which can actually make your anxiety worse. When you're relaxed, you naturally breathe more deeply and slowly. So by purposely breathing the way that you breathe when you're calm, you can communicate to your brain that you're safe. Number 3, distracting yourself with physical sensations. When anxiety has your thoughts spinning in worst-case scenario mode, this coping skill pulls you back to reality. Distraction with physical sensations is one way to get your mind off what's upsetting you by grounding through your body. So for example, you could eat some hot sauce, warheads, or Pop Rocks. You could run in place or stomp your feet on the ground. You could listen to loud music or use a fidget spinner. Basically, you could do anything that pulls your attention away from worry thoughts and towards your physical senses. Anything intense is fair game, as long as it doesn't harm your body. Anxiety is often fueled by upsetting thoughts, like when you're worrying about the future or ruminating about all the stupid things you just said. Your brain can add on limitless, made-up problems to what's actually happening right now. Grounding anchors you back into the present moment so that you can figure out what's true. Number 4, checking the facts. Your anxious thoughts are like a really persuasive salesperson trying to sell you problems that don't actually exist yet. This coping skill helps you figure out what's true and what's not. Let's be clear. Anxiety absolutely can be helpful when it's based on real problems in our lives. Like when we have a big deadline at work coming up, anxiety can give us energy to work a bit harder so that the project gets done in time. But anxiety can also be triggered by inaccurate thoughts, misinterpretations, or trauma beliefs. In those cases, acting on anxiety causes us more problems than it solves. Checking the facts is a DBT skill that helps you figure out where your emotion is coming from so that you know how to best respond and cope. You want to ask yourself 2 main things. 1, what are the facts? What actually happened that prompted my anxiety? And then 2, what are my interpretations? What am I assuming, predicting, or adding on to the facts that might be making me more anxious? These questions are not about gaslighting yourself. They actually can help you listen to and validate your anxiety, while still staying open to the idea that it might be misguided. If you decide that your anxiety is based on fact, great. You can use the anxiety to help you problem solve or keep yourself safe. But if your anxiety doesn't fit the facts, you know that you need to use other coping skills. Checking the facts can also help you think more flexibly, seeing more possible outcomes than your worst fears or most judgmental thoughts. For example, the next time you're anxious, ask yourself, how likely, really, is it that my worst case scenario would happen? And even if it did, would it be as bad as my anxiety makes me want to believe? How would I be able to get through it? Asking these types of questions can reduce the grip that anxiety has over you, giving you a little bit more control of your life back. Number 5 is opposite action. Anxiety can become an overbearing helicopter parent, helping you stay safe by keeping you small. This coping skill helps you escape and actually live the life you want to live. All emotions make us feel like acting in certain ways. Anxiety makes us feel like hiding or avoiding and running away. These urges help us when our well-being is truly in danger, but anxiety's avoidance urges often don't help us. Like people who are socially anxious, even for good reason, may repeatedly choose to skip social occasions. But in the long run, they often end up feeling super lonely and even more socially anxious because they have so little social practice. So simply, the more we avoid something, the worse our anxiety about it gets. This can get us stuck in some pretty painful anxiety cycles. Opposite action is an emotion regulation skill from DBT that interrupts those cycles by asking you to do the opposite of what your emotion makes you feel like doing. To practice opposite action to anxiety, you simply ask yourself, what does anxiety make me feel like doing? And then you do the opposite. And you do the opposite all of the way. So if you're nervous about going to a party, you go. And you don't just hide in the corner. You go and you talk to people, focusing on what they're saying, standing confidently, and taking slow, even breaths. You throw yourself into acting like you're not feeling anxious at all. Of course, this is very hard. Sometimes it's easier to start small. Maybe you go to the party and you make it a goal to just talk to one person for 5 minutes while you're there. And you use lots of other DBT skills along the way to help you cope. Opposite action to anxiety does not want you to throw yourself into dangerous situations. You gradually approach things that anxiety has made bigger and scarier than they actually are. Every time you act opposite to anxiety's demands, you teach your brain that your anxiety is more manageable than you think. You learn that you are brave and you can do hard things. Over time, doing things that act opposite to anxiety and taking yourself out of your comfort zone can help you get out of sticky, painful cycles that anxiety has you caught up in. So there you are, 5 DBT skills for anxiety. One thing I want to make clear is this video is just an introduction. These 5 skills can be really helpful for anxiety, but there are dozens of DBT skills. I teach many of them in my other videos and in my books if you want to learn more. But also, full DBT is way more than just DBT skills. DBT is a complex therapy that helps people learn how to regulate their emotions. While originally developed for borderline personality disorder, decades of research show that it also helps with anxiety, as well as depression, PTSD, and other mental health struggles. DBT skills can be tricky to learn on your own. If you struggle to use any of these skills, or if you continue to feel like anxiety is taking over your life, finding a licensed therapist would likely be really useful. For help finding a therapist, check out Recovery.com or the other resources in the description box below. Thank you for watching.